Welcome back, listeners. This is Katie, and right now, it's just Katie. We are returned from our month-long break. However, I do want to just let you know that Bridget is going to be taking a little bit of a longer break. Girl is busy. Okay, she's working, she's making money, making that money. And just, maintaining her sanity, as we all try to do. So she will be back in June, okay? But we are going to be releasing some episodes. I am going to be hosting with some random people. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a surprise. I don't even know what's happening myself. So we're all going to be surprised. But Bridget will be back and look forward to that return. So enjoy these next couple episodes.
Sisters, sisters who've seen it. We are the sisters, sisters who've seen it. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, 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 sisters. Sisters who've seen it.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Oh, that's so awkward.
That's
was
the beginning,
us.
Neil.
There it is. Look at us. We've been doing this for years.
Woo! Hello, listeners.
It.
Welcome back. I have male voices. Oh my. Actually, are you guys the first dudes on our podcast? No way.
What about, somebody's dad? Wasn't somebody's...
Oh, well, that's true. Our dad, I would peer pressure to get him on. But otherwise, yeah, first guests, I think. So, listeners, this is very exciting. This is a very fun crossover I'm really looking forward to. This is with the dudes from the Retro Video Store podcast. I have Eric and Neil here. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Finally, you've decided to class it up and talk about some quality movies. So we decided to come here, grace you with our presence.
Yep.
And I just want to get this out of the way because I know I'll probably have to say it a lot. You're welcome.
Wow. Thanks so much. Tonight they are surrogate sisters. Okay. We're just going to figure it out. We have a really manly movie. One of Neil's favorites, I believe.
No, it's not my favorite. It should be everybody's favorite. This is the best damn movie.
It's my favorite too, apparently. I didn't even know until I knew, so.
It's the best movie that's ever been made.
I was about to say that this is not the first time that somebody says you're like a sister to me. And that was a lot of, those experiences. And
oh, dear.
Sad.
I'm so sorry to put you through that trauma again, Eric. But, we're going to get through it together. If you need a vent sesh, we're ready. All right? I can edit it out.
You're so full of fragile masculinity.
All right, I am going to introduce ourselves so you know who we are. So, listeners, we are the Sisters Who've Seen It, the podcast where two sisters who are not movie critics look back on some of our favorites throughout the years through a psychological, ethical, and familial lens. I'm Katie.
I'm Eric.
I'm Neil.
And this is where I normally say a quote from the movie, and I don't know if I wrote any down, so somebody can shout a quote out.
To crush your enemies, to see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentations of the women.
In the Arnold voice. Very good, very good.
We just might let your listeners know already that if you don't like bad Arnold Schwarzenegger impressions, sorry.
This is not the place for you. I'm going to apologize for your drop in downloads.
We
honestly.
do like to, turn things into drinking games. So that could be part of the drinking game, listeners, if you take a sip every time there's an Arnold impersonation.
I'm way ahead of you.
Yes.
I'm way ahead of you.
There it is.
Get the Epicac ready, people, because there's going to be some impersonations.
And guys, what is the movie this week?
Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah. I do have questions. I know they'll get answered because I'm with the experts, but I'll ask the first one here. Why is he a barbarian? Exactly. What is it? Just because he's like, I don't know, doesn't shower a lot? What do we think?
So he is a Sumerian, and they are an ungoverned tribe of people with naturist beliefs. Yeah, so
Crom is the god of the earth.
We can talk about Crom.
About Crom. I spelled Crum wrong in my notes, by the way, so that's on me. But
CROM.
Katie, is this the first time you've seen Conan the Barbarian?
Yeah, it was.
Do you realize you've done some wrong things with your life that you have not seen this movie yet?
Maybe, but I definitely, and I think this will be interesting when we get into it, felt like I thought of a lot of other movies, like as I was watching it, that felt similar, or parts that felt similar, and then I kind of realized, like, wait, all the things I'm thinking of came out way after Conan. So did Conan the Barbarian inspire a lot of different movies? And I feel like perhaps.
Everything after Conan was inspired by Conan.
Perhaps.
BC before Conan and AC after Conan.
After Conan. That's right.
Okay, I like that. Well, I do need one or both of you to do a little synopsis. And, little, however long you want it to be.
Neil, you're born for this, Neil.
You're born for this. He's going to read the script or just from memory.
I don't need to read the script.
I was going to say, just from memory. Strap in. Here we go.
Conan is a very complex film. It's a movie about identity and purpose. It's his quest to discover and identify where he belongs in a world full of violence and chaos, and grappling with the question of who he is meant to be and who he is meant to become.
Yeah.
It's about power and corruption. It's about what unbridled nature is forced to deal with in civilization and the mass excess of that.
Problems with revenge. That revenge is that the only motivator in his life? Is that, was Thulsa Doom right when he said that is the wellspring from which he flows? Is revenge the only thing he lives for?
But it is redemption because of what he does. It's redemption because of what he does, not just for himself, because they killed his mother, they killed his father, they killed his people.
Yeah, and he realizes that he does need people with him. He needs friends. He needs companions to get him through. He would have survived if it wasn't for the wizard and Subotai and Valeria. He needed people in his life. So
yeah, I'm glad he got a little gaggle of friends, because I was getting nervous at one point. I was like, I can't just watch Conan run around the desert, run away from dogs.
Subotai, thief, and archer, the Arcanian of the Great Order of Kurlit.
Yep.
Left to be dinner for wolves. Arcanians don't want to be dinner for wolves. They want to die in combat.
Well, I'm curious what put this on your radar. What did you said, hey, I want to do Conan the Barbarian?
Well, it may or may not have been when Neil made a movie request on our website, listeners. I'll talk about that at the end.
It was a long-ass time ago.
It was a long time ago. And that's on me. There's no excuses.
You're just working through that list.
Yeah, but like I said, this was my first watch. And a little bit longer than I thought it'd be. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why in my little brain I assumed all the movies from the 80s were like hour and a half max, but nope, this was 2 hours. I think a little over 2 hours, actually.
Run a little bit over.
2 hours and 2 minutes, I think.
Man.
Yeah, and this was 1982 Universal Studios also, which this might be an age thing, guys, but you know where my mind goes when I hear Universal Studios. Why the fuck don't we have a Conan ride at Universal Studios Florida? That's what I want to know.
That would be amazing.
No one would be able to handle it, because here's what's going to happen. Even if it's animatronic, every woman that goes through that ride would come out pregnant.
And their boobs would be out, for sure.
Oh,
and it's like, wait a sec.
The boobs would be out. All the old guys would be begging the animatronics to save their daughters. The lions ate him. I would probably get pregnant going through that.
A Conan-themed restaurant.
I would probably get pregnant going through a Conan-themed restaurant.
You get lizard on a stick.
You beautiful genius.
Oh my God, the lizard on a stick was something, huh? Wow. Sure was.
I paid extra for that once in Tijuana.
Yeah, so, we do like to kind of go, not scene by scene, but kind of just through the story. And we did start off with a quote. Okay, I definitely didn't write it down correctly because I was thinking of the Kelly Clarkson song, but it's something along the lines of "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." Is that the exact quote?
Friedrich Nietzsche. Yeah.
Again, guys, that is a Kelly Clarkson song. Does she like Conan?
I didn't take Kelly Clarkson for a big Nietzsche fan, as far as how she likes to go with her philosophers, but power to you, go girl, power to her.
And I guess to your point, Neil, this is a story about someone who gets handed kind of a lot of shitty cards.
Someone who finds strength in adversity.
Yeah.
Someone who struggles with the dangers of obsession, the complexity of morality. It's a deep-ass movie.
Yeah, it is. To me, this movie has so many life lessons.
The temptations of power.
When my son turned like 12, I'm like, okay, son, you're going to sit down and you're going to watch this movie because there's so much to glean from this movie. And I thought, I was telling my wife, Jamie, that I should have sat him down and we should all go outside and make a sword together, like the beginning of the movie where you see the dad, the wife, Conan's mother, and Conan making a sword together. That's like some Hyborian times family time.
I was going to say, you want to talk about family bonding. Yes.
No one in this world you can trust. Not men, not women, not beasts. But this, ting ting, this you can trust.
Yeah, it did give me Lord of the Rings vibes. So again, I don't know. I mean, I think those books were written beforehand, but the movies certainly came out well after the 80s, and I loved
God bless you, Robert E. Howard, for creating this.
Yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong. Conan the Barbarian is a character that was based off of comics.
No, books.
Books.
He had books.
Yeah.
Okay.
Robert E. Howard
The man had books.
created Conan the Barbarian. He also did Kull the Conqueror.
Okay.
Kull, not so good.
Is Kull like a cousin of Conan who went through his own nonsense over there?
Kull sucked so bad they got Kevin Sorbo to do it.
Jesus
Pre making a jackass out of himself on Twitter.
Yeah. What a shame. What a downfall. Goddamn Hercules.
So the writer Robert E. Howard started writing Conan books in 1932.
Wow.
And they were in a serial book called Weird Tales.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of the first Conan books or tales were in Weird Tales, which is kind of cool. I always like those old school like periodicals where like H.P. Lovecraft and Robert E. Howard and a lot of other people started their careers by putting short stories of their most famous characters in these periodicals.
Yeah.
Robert E. Howard actually has one of my more favorite quotes, and I think it really kind of applies because we grew up in the 80s and we were feral children in the 80s.
Okay.
And civilized men are more discourteous than savages because they know they can be impolite without having their skulls split with an axe.
That's deep.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
You can talk all the trash you want behind a keyboard.
And Robert E. Howard was a kooky guy. He was a kind of a very odd guy. He was very paranoid, thought the people in his town were going to kill him. So he would board up his doors and stuff like that.
But was he wrong?
Was that inspiration? Was he just like, all my insecurities will be written into this Conan story? Here we go.
Well, he tells a story about how he saw the giant figure of Conan appear to him when he was, stopping, where he was starting to write the story of Conan. Then he stopped and he was a little discouraged, but he said Conan the Barbarian came to him and told him, if you do not finish the story, I will kill you. So he stayed up late at night and wrote the first Conan story until he was finished out of fear that Conan would split his head open.
Okay. I want to be like, how inspirational, but the psychologist in me is really worried about the voices and hallucinations we're seeing. But
allow me to swirl around Robert E. Howard's inspiration.
Okay.
He only lived to be 30 years old, though. He was born in 1906 and died in 1936. So
damn,
a life well lived, though. Look at what this man.
Look what he produced in just before the age of 30. So
yes, he got down. He wrote.
Well, it makes a lot more sense that this came from a book because we do have a narrator. Thank goodness, because there's a lot of parts where there's no dialogue, and movies are visual medium, but I was kind of like, is anybody going to speak and help me understand things? But the narrator had my back. And is the narrator also the wizard?
Yes.
They're the same.
I wouldn't say narrator, I'd say chronicler, which is how he referred to himself in the beginning.
Okay.
Of the movie, because the beginning of the movie is between the times when the oceans drank Atlantis and the rise of the sons of Ares.
Yeah, that's what I said.
There was an age undreamed of, and unto this age destined to bear the jeweled crown of Aquilone upon a troubled bow.
Yeah, so I'm glad he was there because, as we mentioned, we start off with we're making a sword. It's a family time. I don't know what's happening. But we learn this little kid is Conan. He's not yet a barbarian, I think. I don't know.
He's a barbarian.
He's an 8-year-old barbarian.
Your dad's a giant ass hairy dude that wears furs and has a hot wife all in leather. You're a barbarian.
Well, and he was going ice fishing, and I was like, I'm a little worried about this kid all by his lonesome. They just want to get rid of him, so they sent him off to do that.
That's kind of like Gen X parenting.
Yeah, I suppose. But it worked in his favor because his town gets swarmed. No speaking, just murder and fire, and everyone is dying. Everyone around you is dying.
Yeah, you don't even know why they came.
I certainly didn't, because nobody said words.
Were they there for steal? Or were they there for murder? And it was never known because their leader rode to the north while the children south. The children went north with the Vanir, and no one would ever know what became of his people had ever lived at all. His was a tale of sorrow.
That actually was a quote, not that whole thing, Neil. But love how you know that.
That's from the movie.
But I did write one of the quotes down related to that, which was the chronicler goes, "Who knows what they came for?" And I wrote, "Not me, that's for sure." And then later we kind of get a little more on that, but I don't know. But yeah, so James Earl Jones. I mean, what a treat! What a treat to see this man in a wig,
looking badass though. He had the great armor. He had the cool He had hair that would have made Rick James shit himself in the
It
70s.
really was a nice wig, I gotta say. And I know if my sister was here, she'd agree with me. He had blue contact lenses.
No, his eyes are really blue.
Oh my God, what?
Yeah, his eyes are really blue.
Here for the fact checks, you guys. I love it.
Well, it was interesting because big surprise. I was watching the making of Conan before we started recording.
Shocker.
And they were talking to James Earl Jones in one of those making of things that you saw on HBO as a kid, and they were talking to James Earl Jones, and his eyes are blue. I was like, wow, his eyes are really blue.
Yeah, now that I think about it, he does a lot of voice work, right? So he's the voice of Darth Vader, he's the voice of Mufasa. This is again showing my age, and then he is a character in The Sandlot, but he's a blind man, so you don't see his eyeballs. So this, wow, okay, we all learned something today.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really understand what his eyeballs do, if it's magic or we hypnotize because something snake, but he does this move, I suppose you'll call it, where he's looking at Conan's mom because it's just him and Conan left, and the mom's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you bitches if you come close, and the guy's just looking at him, and he does a little turn, a little side eye, and the sass was amazing, and I really thought he was gonna walk away with just being rude, but no, he beheads the mom.
Yeah, there was this one subtle thing that I always enjoy is that he hypnotizes the mom and she drops her sword and then she kind of extends her neck a little bit like, okay, I'm ready for you to cut my head off.
Yeah.
It's really subtle and it's just right. They cut to Thulsa Doom, James Earl Jones, then they cut to young Conan, they cut to the mom, and then they go back and forth. But right before the last shot of the mom, she extends her neck out just a tiny bit, just like offering her neck to be chopped.
We see a little bit of her hair flipping by under the force of gravity by Conan. They're playing off the whole idea of the wives' tale of snakes hypnotizing their prey.
I was going to say that. I thought that's what it might be because that comes up later too, where like there's one point you think Conan almost at the very end. Like I was like, oh, are we going to go through like him getting hypnotized? Come on, let's do it. But
you can't hypnotize Conan. You can try.
Yeah. Well, it didn't.
Remember the Jungle Book where the snakes, like, you know, his little eyes would go swirling and it would hypnotize people. Yeah.
Trust in me.
Yeah, I couldn't think of that. But yes, definitely.
The mom's got no head, so now Conan's an orphan. But also no dialogue. Just in case you're wondering, nobody's screaming.
You don't need it. You don't need it. You can read it in Conan's body language.
He's a sad little guy, and they are kidnapping children. I know you said the quote, Neil, but I just have to talk it out to understand. We kidnap little children to go to a wheel.
The Wheel of Pain.
Oh, well, that's okay.
The Wheel of Pain.
What do we...
North with the Vanir.
What is the Wheel of Pain? Don't say pain.
That is a giant wheel that they were using to grind grain with. So the Vanir were selling these kids into slavery to do that, and they were sold to push the Wheel of Pain.
To make grain.
Yeah, they would pour the grain in the middle of that, and they would just mill it to grind it down.
Okay, because I wondered, which a lot of kids, I guess, die. Because then Conan's the only one left, and now he's big, strong Conan, and he's Arnold Conan. And I didn't know if...
Do you know why they died? Do you know why they died? I'm going to tell you why they died.
Why did they die, Neil?
Because they weren't fucking Conan.
Oh, yeah.
Conan didn't die.
I thought it was like some weird like endurance test, and they're like, whoever lives gets to be the guy who fights in the pit. And I was like, this deal sucks. Like, there's better ways to train people for pit fighting, but
I think the way I took it was the original guard, the redheaded kid. He grew up and he went back to see, and he saw that Conan was now this huge dude. He's like, hey, I'm gonna buy him, and I'm gonna bet on he's gonna be my gladiator in this in this pit fights.
You gotta think about the training that he got for that. So he's pushing the Wheel of Pain, and he's oddly symmetrical for pushing and going around. Maybe they, like every other day, they let him push a different direction. Maybe. We don't know. It's not important to the story. We just know that Conan, using his singular focus and force of will, is now, instead of using that to push that wheel, is now going to have that set forth upon the pit fighters. And he was given a really, really good training regimen. Is that guy got him and told him, sit here. Sit here. Told it to him twice, right? So now he's ready to kick ass.
Yeah, well, he did. And I was like, okay, I'm ready for, like, I don't know, fighting. And that's cool. And then Conan does fighting, and it's like, he loved fighting. He just loved it. That's all he lived for. And I was like, yep, I see it. All right.
He did not care anymore.
He didn't care about anything
Life
else.
and death, the same. only that the crowd would be there to greet him with howls of lust and fury. He began to realize his sense of worth. You can try to interrupt these quotes. They're not getting fucking interrupted.
He spends 20 years pushing a wheel. I think I would like fighting too, because it's something different and I have some autonomy in it at least. But somehow this leads to him going to somewhere and being trained something and breeding women, right?
Well, he learned the poetry of Gatai and the philosophy of Sung, and then he was bred to the finest stock, of course, because who wouldn't? And then he was given to the Woe Masters.
So I saw this movie when I first saw this movie when I was 10.
Yeah.
And that whole breeding to the finest stock thing really confused me. I was like, what? Why is he in a cage like an animal? Like
why
a zoo
are there
exhibit?
other people looking?
Why are people like watching him, get busy? But you did notice that Conan was kind of gentle. He wasn't a total like jerk. That's
why I'm like the Barbarian. It could have been worse, Like I don't know. It wasn't that bad.
Did you notice though he had a rhythm to it? Bum 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 bum
to his boning.
bum 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 bum.
The Barbarian brass.
I want to point out the other person who tried to be Conan and it made a giant piece of shit movie, Jason Momoa. And if you're listening to this, Jason, you can kiss my ass for trying to make this movie. You tried to get yourself a little Khal Drogo action, but you're nowhere near as supple and gentle as Conan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not gentle. Yeah.
You made Khaleesi cry, you bastard.
He sure did.
Okay. That woman just left with giant masculine barbarian babies in her womb.
Yeah, whether she likes it or not, that's definitely going down.
Yeah, they didn't really get to that part of it. He was a little bit nicer than you would expect a barbarian to be, and then they kind of cut away from that. And they're like, well, never mind, we're not going to get any further and deeper into that issue, and we're going to move on.
Yeah, they're like, he's not a virgin, we're over it, keep it moving.
He now can read, he's not a virgin, He's pretty well rounded, he's learning all the 5 different fighting styles.
The poetry of Katai, the philosophy of Sun.
Yeah.
Proud of him.
That's right.
Started from the bottom, now he's here.
It's like barbarian finishing school. That's where he's a
thinking man's barbarian.
Yes.
Well, at some point, somebody is like, poor Arnold is chained up. I'm going to free him. Was that the redhead dude?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he realized that, he's not just his barbarian, he's a person, and he had sympathy and let him go. Go now. You're free.
It had been surmised that perhaps that he was like a wild animal that had been kept too long.
That guy was like, go on again. And Arnold's like, I don't know the world. Okay, here I go. He gets chased by dogs, too. Oh, my God.
Yep. Wild dogs.
Oy. Well, wild German shepherds in this.
Yes. But we get to hear...
land.
But because of this, when he actually goes into the burial mound and meet Crom, right?
Yes.
And get to meet Crom.
Crom's in the earth, yes.
We got some of the best dialogue in the movie and some of his real first dialogue in the film. Other than the pit, and I know that by heart. What would you like to hear?
I want to hear...
you want to hear it? Because I have it for you.
In the tomb.
Okay.
Yeah.
and then, wait for it, Crom. Beautiful.
I mean, I'm glad Crumb had a purpose. So Crumb was the skeleton with hair.
Crumb.
Okay.
I'm starting to. It's
like
starting to become
Harry Crumb.
I did think of Harry Potter with Victor Crumb, and I was like, I'll worship Victor Crumb. Absolutely. Where's he at?
Would you like some time alone in the magical wizarding world of Harry Potter?
Not with the skeleton. I'm good. And also, was the skeleton gonna come alive? And then was like, never mind. Good luck.
He thought about it, and he's like, you know what? This mother trucker's motivated.
It's like, you're fine.
You're
good.
fine. You don't need this.
It was a sign for him to take the sword.
Oh, that was it.
Yes.
So
because he had freedom, so long an unremembered dream.
One of the things I read about the movie was it was saying how, and you touched on this, Neil, like this wasn't a typical like fantasy hero movie where it's like they're a chosen one or like they're gonna be the leader and like blah blah blah. It was kind of like, no, it's just like a guy and stuff happens and he does it and that's it. And I liked that.
He's looking to redeem his people. He was just an average Sumerian barbarian.
Yeah, no prophecies. Because there is a point, and I think it's after he gets this sword, where he goes and meets this lady. Jesus Christ. Werewolf lady? What do we call her?
She's just a witch.
Just a witch.
well, and she starts spitting out like, oh, they said some man would come, and I was like, can we just not? But then she was full bullshit. So
a man from the north, a man.
That was the
yeah.
prophecy. There'd be
man-
some
a man
guy
of-
coming down the lane. Jesus.
A man of great strength, a conqueror, a man who would make himself king by his own hand.
I guess that does happen at some point, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But I mean, and again, another important life lesson. If a weird half-naked woman with jagged teeth whipping her stuff out at you, offering you to sit by her fire, what do we say, kids? We say no. No. You go get the guy who's going to be your potential best friend unhooked.
Definitely.
And you guys haul ass, because you're going to have to eventually throw her weird demonic ass in a fire and have to listen to that like as she like zips around like a Roman candle on 4th of July that you actually pointed at the wrong place.
Yep.
Once again, this is one of those movies I saw. I mean, I saw this scene when I was 10 and it left me confused.
You're like, is this what sex is? Ah!
Exactly. That's exactly what it was.
I don't want to throw the
I'm
lady in the fire.
I don't want a crazy lady's teeth come out and start scratching my back up. And it's just, what's left me a little confused.
I already heard it had teeth, and I already heard you'd go blind. I mean, the last thing I needed was to see that.
I did love how he's like, lady, I'm just trying to find this place. And she's like, I'll tell you after we bone. And I was like, that's smart, lady. You know, you got to do what's best for you. And then she did tell him stuff, but I don't really know if it was the right stuff, or because he was looking to go to the temple, right? To find the guy.
Snakes? Did you say snakes?
Snake place. Yeah.
A standard, a symbol. Snakes coming together, facing each other.
Facing each other.
Facing each other. Like that.
But he did get the bonus. He got a best friend. Did we just become best friends?
Yup. I love this guy. I thought he was great. I was like, he's a good amount of energy. He's go with the flow.
Put some respect on it. Subotai. Put some respect on it.
Subotai. I liked him. I'm glad he came in the
interesting thing about Subotai is that he wasn't even an actor. He was a surfing buddy.
Just a surfing buddy.
Surfer, yeah. He's a surfing buddy of the director John Milius. And he's like, we need a guy like Gerry Lopez. And they couldn't find anybody who was a good an actor to be like Gerry Lopez, so they just hired the Gerry Lopez, who was like a Mongol on the surfboard. So let's hire this guy, and he did an awesome job. I think he's like the best ride or die best friend in the movies.
Yes, that's why I love him.
He will cry for you if you can't cry.
Oh my god,
I cry for him.
That did touch me in the feelings a little bit. I'm like, oh, friendship goals. I love that.
Yeah, but it starts off like all male friendships. There's a little bit of posturing because he's like, food. I've not eaten for days, and Conan snaps back at him like, who says you will?
Oh, the sass is out of control. I gotta say.
And then Subotai lets him know, like, I'm not just gonna sit here and get eaten by wolves, damn it. Okay. I'm Arcanian, the Great Order Kurlet. I'm you want me on your side. I'm a bit of an archer myself, and I need some food so that I can fight when the wolves come. And Conan's like, let's go. We need to have ourselves a philosophical religious discussion where I kind of respect you, but I also feel like I could pick you up and crack you over my knee like the sticks I just put on this fire because you're freaking sass and crom.
Yeah.
That's what we got.
I have my own opinions about religions, but I have respect for people if they believe in whatever, of course. And I always love to see, because you usually don't, you see like people arguing and fighting, but I love to see two people being like, hey, we respect each other's differences on this. And I'm like, again, friendship goals. He's got Crumb and you've got the other person who...
He's got the sky, the everlasting sky.
The everlasting sky, who looks down on your god. And I was like, you kids, keep me young.
Crom laughs at you. Crom laughs at you. Laughs from your mountain of power. I love putting down, if I have to fill out a form and it asks for things like, I was doing like life insurance stuff, and there was like some medical stuff, had to have like a little surgery, and they were like religious affiliation. And I put First Church of Samaria.
Wow.
And the one lady read it. She was the First Church of Samaria. I said, yes, Crom. And I'm like, do I want my life in this person's hand? And there was an anesthesiologist that was like, Crom laughs at you 4 winds from his mountain. And I'm like, you, sir, my life is in your hands. And I am so glad to be here today.
That's so funny.
That's how I judge people. If you can't fire back with a quote, you're useless to me.
It's like Crom or bust in Neil's book.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. There is a lot of religion talk in general, because we find out, eventually in the movie, like the James Earl Jones, Thulsa Doom. It's bad.
Are you sure? Are you sure you watched this movie?
I don't write names down sometimes. IMDb is my best friend. So maybe I'll look at it. Thulsa Doom, I see it. We find out he's basically like a cult leader, and I don't know, it's kind of a religion, but like, scary and not good. And the Conan and his best friend, and Neil's gonna be mad at me, so let me find the name.
Subotai.
Subotai. Here he is, Gerry Lopez. Okay, so Conan and Subotai get to some place.
Zamora, crossroads of the world.
All right.
That was what the witch was moaning at him in her ever so freaky way, which I thought, like, is that it's like not a safe word, it's a city. Zamora.
Yeah, she's like full orgasm giving the info, by the way. They're in this city. There's a lot happening in this city, but in the city is a snake temple tower.
Yep. Of Set. Yes. Temple of Set.
Okay. Yeah.
Temple of Set.
You know, this is not off topic because it's a movie, but this was the first part of the movie I started to realize there's a lot of different animals they use in this movie, like real live animals.
Yes.
Like you go through a children's book of random animals and like they're all in here, I think.
Yes.
And
yeah. And this has, if anybody is ever kind of curious, let's say you're on Black Lotus, Stygian, which is the best because no one would not sell Haga to you if you're a slayer, right? Of course, we know that now.
Yeah.
And let's say you're walking down the steps and you feel the need to slut shame. The sluts!
You did say that.
And because camels are rather unfriendly creatures, if a camel decides to like mouth off to you, this is the city to knock it the hell out in.
Does he punch a camel? Did I black out?
Yeah, he punched a camel.
Punches a camel.
I missed it!
And that's not a euphemism. That's not a
God.
euphemism.
No,
I'm not making
I know
some
what
kind
you
of
mean. That probably
weird
really
reference.
happened.
He's punching a camel.
I'm telling you, some of those horse scenes too. I was like, did that horse just fall down a cliff?
That's what I love about this movie is okay, they shot it in Spain. They're using trained horses, but this is not like I didn't see at the end no animals were harmed in the production of this movie.
They're throwing chickens. So they were like picking up a pig, and the pig's like, Jesus Christ, help! And I was like, oh God. It's like
if you read it in like a generic European accent, it makes it better. Like maybe one or two animals were hurt during the film of it is a movie.
They're like, don't ask us about the animals. Thank you for watching Conan.
But those were trained horses that were trained to fall and everything. And during the making of it, they talked about how it was one of the last movies where they could actually do some of those horse stunts because they are dangerous as they are, and the oversight they have now, they probably wouldn't allow the horses to take this type of falls.
There's a whole ass elephant in the city too, just like cuz it's just there. Do you guys think those lizards on a stick were real lizards?
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope they were, because I swear to God,
they were.
You've seen worse in markets in Thailand.
That's true.
Like
there's a lot of cookie things getting eaten. Yeah.
Honestly, it's one of those like on a dare, I'd eat it.
You would? Okay.
I'd give it a nibble. What the hell?
It looked fried too. I'm like, I don't know. It's like maybe that bad.
Fried lizard could be. I've had fried alligator. That's pretty outstanding.
Yeah.
I watched my cat take down a lizard, and even she can't finish the whole thing. And I'm like 500 times the size of my cat.
Now Neil's like, that, can I have the rest of that? Got some plans
for
dinner.
It's not hygienic. The cat's already had her mouth on it, and she licks her asshole. So there's no way I'm going to take that from the cat. I'm going to get my own lizard first.
We should stop at like Buffalo Wild Lizard and
Buffalo Wild Lizard. Well, they decide, hey, let's stop fucking around and get up in this tower, because I think that's why we came here. And they run into, we never say her name in the movie. Fun fact, it's never said aloud, but it's Valeria. Neil?
Yep.
Okay.
Very good.
I did it. I did it.
All right. I'm a little less disappointed now. It's Valeria. Good.
Thank you so much. Valeria, she's like, guys, you don't even have rope. Like, what do you do? She's like, you're not even prepared. Like, use my rope. Now we're a gaggle. Let's do it.
Two
like, okay.
fools. Two fools who laugh at death. And this is a joke as old as Eric and my friendship. Okay.
Oh.
Yes. Do you know what horrors lie beyond that wall?
Acting even worse than ours.
Acting even worse than ours. I think the first time I made that joke was in your living room, sitting on the floor,
Conan in my house,
watching Conan at his house in front of his projection screen TV. 30 years of Jesus Christ, you're old.
When we were in the tower, whatever, that was one of the parts I actually laughed very loudly, and I don't think I was supposed to laugh at it, but it was when the woman who was going to sacrifice herself jumps in the pit and is like, ah! She just does this really ridiculous scream, and that was entertaining.
The snake that I was supposed to be eaten by is dead.
Okay, all right, guys, we did Anaconda. I don't know if you guys did Anaconda, but
no, not yet.
Not yet.
I'm just saying, I know there's other anacondas in the world, but did Anaconda take a little bit from this movie? And they're like, wouldn't it be cool if we had a giant snake and we made it kind of a puppet? And I was like, yeah, that would be fucking cool.
I love the snake puppet in this movie, though. It looks
Oh,
awesome.
it's so good. All
It
of
looks
them,
so
even
good.
when he
Yeah.
transforms. And I didn't know when I first saw this movie, because I was 9 when I first saw this. I was in 5th grade. Is that as far as anacondas go, mine doesn't want none unless you got buns, hun.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Putting the classics.
I
When
didn't
you
know
go to
that.
the aquarium, that's what it says under the anacondas nameplate. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
I hope you got your buns, hun.
Well, there were certainly buns in this place because, again, boobs are out. Lady buns are out. I don't know why we gotta get naked to sacrifice ourselves, but we do.
You don't want the snake to choke. You want the snake to have to try to cack that out later. Have
You're
some
right.
respect.
You're right.
You got to sit there and listen to that snake all night long. Go.
Somebody's tunic.
Lady
And then
hairball.
they got some poor other slave there just yanking that thing out, and they're like, please.
So we get a ruby.
The Eye of the Serpent.
The Eye of the Serpent.
Okay, and that's important, I think.
Mhm.
And we steal it, and we steal some shit, and they get out alive, and the snake gets killed.
Do you want to live forever? And then we jump off the top of the tower.
You know, didn't love that catchphrase because I was like, does that mean you're gonna die, lady? And then like 2 scenes later, she's really happy with Conan, and I was like, God damn it, this bitch is gonna die.
Yeah,
Like,
She's
Mhm.
out.
Yeah, you
She's
can't
out.
be the
gonna
protagonist's
Yeah.
love interest in a movie like this and not die.
you can't
But she
be
was
happy.
willing-
Yeah.
She was willing to pay the price and becomes a Valkyrie. So it seems like it was a good trade-off.
This is what I love about Valeria, is that she, especially for a movie in 1982, she was every bit as equal as Subotai and Conan.
Yes.
They didn't treat her any different. They
I
didn't
love
make her
that.
feel like she was less, and she was awesome. And she wasn't like
Well-
some wafy 5'3", actress. She was a tall,
Okay.
lithe dancer, who
Yes.
looked like she could kick your ass.
I don't want to get technical, but Conan did. Okay, my man. Conan did technically treat her a little different than he treated Subotai.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not cuddling up to Subotai at night.
Listen, I'm not
Let me
gonna
know.
lie. I would have voted for them to be a throuple, personally. I thought that could have been fun. We could have done like a big cuddle sesh, but we didn't go that direction, and it's fine, and I'll get over it.
You're too big to be a thief. Imagine that in a throuple. You're too big to be a thief. And all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, we've been having a great time. What's going on? Oh my God, I fucking killed Subotai. I've been on it for like a half hour.
Yeah, well, that's
Horrible.
true. I'd be worried about him. He, like, I don't know. At some point, he's not there. It's Valkyrie and Conan, and his face falls in soup. Is he drunk? Is that what? Is
Oh, yeah.
happening?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Well, success can test one's mettle as surely as the strongest adversary. And that's right about the time they were taken to the halls of King Osric, once a powerful Northman like my lord, but old and sotted.
King is played by Max von Sydow.
He's
Didn't
awesome in
recognize
this.
him.
He is
Oh,
amazing.
he's amazing. The lions ate him.
Oh my God, his voice is
Love
great.
it. Love it.
I didn't
Have
realize
you
it
guys
was
done
him.
Flash Gordon yet?
No.
Oh, that's another amazing Max von Sydow performance. For somebody who has a reputation of being such a stodgy classical actor, he kind of lets loose with some of these crazy roles as Ming the Merciless in Flash Gordon, and in this movie he gets to cut loose and just have a lot of fun. And it's fun to see such a austere kind of actor let loose and be different than you normally
I love that.
see him.
I mean, and he's basically like, hey guys, I know you're thieves and all. Anywho, do you want to go get my daughter because she joined the snake cult? I don't like the snake cult, but I'm also not doing anything to prevent the snake cult from getting in my city. Anywho, what do you think? And they're like, I guess let's do it.
Well, that's because the snakes are everywhere at this point. They're in his beautiful city. They're in Numidia. They're in Aquilonia. They're in Koth. They're in Stygia. Snakes everywhere with these evil towers.
Motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. Seriously.
Yeah, they're like the Scientologists of Hyboria, where they're like doing e-meter readings and stuff like that and saying your thetans are bad, and to get rid of you, to get yourself clear, you need to be eaten by a gigantic snake.
Yeah. They got
What
pamphlets. I
What
mean, there were a lot
Outrageousness.
of people at the snake cult. A lot more than I thought, I gotta say. But before we even get there, Valkyrie's like, anywho, yippee, we're all good. Let's do it. Or no, she does the opposite. She's like, we don't need to. Let's not. Let's just like.
Yeah, let's
chill.
get out of here. We've got money. We're having a good time. Let's get out of here with our lives. And Conan's driven by revenge.
Yeah.
Well, but also, I mean, I think he was a little touched because honestly, there comes a time when the jewels cease to sparkle and the gold loses its luster, and the throne room becomes a prison, and all that's left is a father's love for his child.
Yep, and that means Conan's gotta go and kill that dude. I kind of wondered if Conan would have like left the lady, like if he was literally just, I'm just here to behead the guy, and then you can figure it out. But he doesn't say anything to Valkyrie. Come on, they spent like 8 hours boning. Like, that's rude.
He had a lot of years on the wheel of pain.
Oh my god, the wheel.
Things had to get taken care of. Oh, come on. We were all 18 once. We were all young once.
You think Conan is 18 in this movie?
I'm sorry if you are judging the way barbarians age. That man was outside in the elements 24 hours a day. He didn't have time for a skincare regimen.
Oh my god.
He didn't have time for the kind of nutrition and things everyone else.
Exfoliating, moisturizing, things like that.
Fucking exfoliating, for God's sake.
I
Conan's
just thought
out
the
there.
wheel was like 20 years minimum, but apparently not. Okay, damn.
Who knows?
I don't know.
But you know what? He's Conan. He was on there for a half hour, actually, and he freaking puffed up with muscle. It's the Sumerian gift.
Well, he meets our chronicler, who is also referred to as a wizard, and it's played by, I want to say Mako, but I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right.
Mako?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Another famous actor. His role is interesting because I feel like he's just like, yeah, I'm a wizard. Anyway, here's a camel. See ya. And I was like, okay, thanks for that. Bye.
Well, when he does use magic, which he eventually does,
Yes,
I like the way it's presented in this story is that it's not something you just cast. You just can't cast a fireball like in D&D or something like that. It takes a toll. You have to exchange something to do magic.
A price must be paid, and she agreed to pay it.
Yeah, you
That's
gotta
right.
get your entire face tattooed for the demons to come, something. So that was fun. But Conan tries to go kill James Earl Jones, and nope. Sure don't. He gets outed real quick. They're like, "Bitch, nobody's that muscular in our cult. What are you doing?"
I know. Did you see all the like Hyborian hippies running around? And
yes,
just all trust fund kids who were like have kings for fathers, and they
really are. I'm like, you little privileged bitches. You don't even know what the wheel of pain feels like. Okay, my God.
You're so big and well grown.
And then he's like, you know what? Go crucify him. And I was like, damn, religious reference.
Well, because he has some contemplating to do on the tree of woe.
Oh.
But this is an important thing because Thulsa, exactly.
Yeah.
So Thulsa, at this point, we learned a little bit about what was motivating him, and he's saying there was a time, that he was looking for steel. He was looking for this stuff. And Conan goes, the ritual of steel, because he's pretty jacked up. Rexor and Thorgrim have been giving him the what for, and then he tells him that it's flesh. Flesh is stronger than steel. What is steel compared to the hands that wields it? That girl, look up there. Come to me, my child. Come to me. That is power.
Yeah.
And that really is the whole theme of the movie. It's your will that you have to sharpen, and you have to that drives you to be stronger than steel. And even though Thulsa Doom is the villain, he does get the motivation and kind of the theme of the whole movie down of in his statement to Conan.
And that's great. The strength of your body and the desire in your heart. We get a chest thump. I gave this to you.
Yeah. And I did like too how Conan's like, I spent my whole life trying to kill you, and he's like, I don't even know you, dude. Like, that was like a weird weekend in my life, and relax. And I was like, dang.
It's kind of like Raul Julia in Street Fighter, where he's like, oh, well, for me that was a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday. Oh, you son of a bitch! You stepped right on that quote. I was ready for that too. Oh, good job.
Well, you know what? Somehow, some way, the power of friendship and love is all his little buddies come and find him on the Tree of Woe. I don't know, but I like it. And he's dead, but the wizard's like, don't worry, we're gonna fix it. Maybe.
Oh, look at his hands. He'll never hold a sword again.
Oh. Well, he does. So I did love these Microsoft Paint demons. The effects are super 80s, but I love it. It's great.
I love outdated effects.
It's so
I think
fun
they're so much
to see.
more fun because that somebody hand animated all this stuff and they put it on, composited on cells of film. and Valeria's got to swing against nothing and act like she's fighting off these demons. And the artistry that it took for somebody actually to animate those cells and then put them, overlay them on the real cells of film. I just love that kind of the craftsmanship of this movie. For a Dino De Laurentiis movie, which is usually very cheap, they spent a lot of money. This movie and Flash Gordon, the sets are amazing, the costumes are amazing, the locations are amazing.
The amount of animals
they put a lot of money in
are
this.
amazing. Yes.
The oil budget for Arnold's pecs alone. So I'm sorry, we don't have enough glisten. Could Bobby get in here? We need to oil up Arnold, please. Could you come on in here?
Get the squeegee out.
Certainly the wig budget as well, because dang, I mean, I'm telling you, the hair was, it was flowing. It was nice. But to no surprise, because we still have like 45 minutes left at this point in the movie, Arnold is alive again, thank goodness. And they're like, okay, back to the original plan. Which, let's try again with friends. Okay, go get the lady. And they do battle paint. I love it. Did remind me of Commando, but I know that came out after this. Yeah, and then they go to a brothel room. Well,
there's a gorge with many caves, and a good thief can get in there. Not necessarily a vengeful one. And then we go, and it's mealtime, and we've got our little orgy going on. Thulsa's supervising, and this is what is Subotai asks. So this is paradise.
The orgy room of Thulsa Doom, where put a lot into that soup too.
A lot of hands and heads is what I saw, and I just don't think I want that personally, but. I don't know. I've never been to the orgy room, so maybe it's not so bad. Who knows?
We had hands and heads in the soup. We had hands and heads in the orgy.
Yeah, yes.
We just rounded out the visuals.
Yeah, and I don't know. And then Thulsa Doom is just like watching. He's just like, yes, all is well in the orgy room.
Yeah, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not his worst Tuesday night watching.
Yeah, but he does, turn into a snake, which is so fun. And it was kind of a puppet at one point, but then I think they used a real snake eventually.
I love that when he's got the snake face on the robe and everything.
And that slow plotting.
Oh, it's so cool.
Boom, 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 boom. And the princess is sitting there like, I left Dad's, which was boring, and now I got to sit here with old Thulsi, and I got to watch people dry hump all night.
Yeah, I'm like, is she like, are we having a good time, or is she like, please don't do the snake thing again? Oh God, there he goes.
The stank in the orgy room.
Yeah, I did think of that
You've
too.
got head soup.
It's not smelling good in there.
And snakes don't smell wonderful to begin with.
Yeah.
So maybe that was why they were all like draping the flowers around themselves.
Well, thankfully, our thieves, Conan's gang, they're like, anyway, that's a lot of that. Let's set this place on fire. And I was like, yes, let's do it. Here we go. And then it just becomes a big ass. We're killing people. Valkyrie punches the princess.
Yes.
She just fucking punched her in the face. And she's like, shut up. And I was like, damn, okay. And it's chaos. And Conan, I think this is where you see him. He's kind of like, yeah, I'm with the plan. But also, if I need to go kill that guy and abandon you guys, I might. And you're like, Conan, no.
Side mission, side quest.
Yeah.
Side quest. As soon as you hear that kettle drum, boom, 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 it's like bodies are starting to roll. Yes. Let's do this, guys.
It's a lot of chaos. I enjoyed it. I was here for it. And then you're kind of like, okay, they got the lady. Off they go. But freaking James Earl Jones is like, don't worry, I got plan B, which is a little snake that he, and it turns into an arrow, and he arrows a snake through Valkyrie.
Because they're infidel defilers, and they all need to drown in lakes of blood and know why they're afraid of the dark. They will learn why they fear the night because of arrow snakes.
I do fear arrow snakes personally. That it's a new fear for me. I don't like them. I don't like it. And he whips that out a couple times later as well. We see more of those.
We'll take a note. Katie is afraid of Thulsa Doom's snake.
I don't. Yeah, I certainly am. That and other things in this movie. But as I expected, she dies. Bye. It was fun for a day. I'll miss you, girl. And Conan can't cry because he's woe and pain wheels something.
He's a Sumerian. He can't do it.
Okay.
Can't.
Yeah. No tear.
So Subotai has to cry for him.
That's right.
Which is the ultimate bro move.
It really
cry
is.
for your friend. Yeah.
It is. And then it's like revenge. And Okay, guys, then we have a scene where they have the princess. So they're like, don't worry, we're not going to return her because instead we're going to tie her up and we're going to home alone this shit. Okay, we're setting booby traps in the desert. Wizards here too, I guess. And they're going to come here and we're going to fuck shit up. And they kind of do. And it's great.
It's amazing, is what
and
it is.
the second best quote from the movie, other than asking Conan what is best in life, is the prayer to Crom. And you might be asking yourself, Neil, do you have that committed to memory?
Oh boy,
Yes,
here it
yes.
is.
Yes, I do. Crom, I've never prayed to you before. I have no tongue for it. No one, not even you, will remember if we were good men or bad, why we fought or why we died. No. All that matters is that two stood against many. That's what's important. Valor pleases you, Crom. So grant me one request. Grant me revenge. And if you do not listen, then to hell with you. Damn it, this is a good movie.
Technically, I'm about to actually right now. Didn't Crom not answer that request? Because then James Earl Jones gallops away?
Well, they pretty much completed their other, they stood against many.
They stood against many.
They did.
Yep.
They did. That is true. The booby traps were wild. Oh my god, the one where it was literally Home Alone, where the guy with the hammer, a little clowny, I gotta say, but it's fine. We'll go with it.
I think every guy wants a gigantic war hammer.
That was a big one.
You never know when you need it. I put it in my trunk.
I think it's a little cumbersome. What do I know? I'm not a barbarian. And he hits a hammer, or he hits a helmet that he thinks is Conan, and it's not, and it sets off a booby trap, and then a whole Rube Goldberg machine, and then he gets shanked. And I was like, that was great.
What was the name of the character that hit that helmet?
Oh my god, I don't know. Thug number 2.
Oh my god, it's like you didn't watch
Barbarian,
the movie.
I don't know.
That's Thorgrim. It's Rexor and Thorgrim.
Thorgrim? One word?
Thorgrim. Thorgrim. And Rexor. Rexor. The right and the left hand of doom.
Hashtag not my Thor.
The high priests in the temple of Set.
Yeah.
Thorgrim.
I was glad they're gone because I didn't really understand their motivation. Like, why are you guys part of the snake cult? Do you just
I think
do
they're
orgy?
just riding Thulsa Doom's coattails. This very long coattails, like, hey, this guy we rode, he was our warlord and now he's into religion, but on the side of the religion is hot tail all the time. We get to raise snakes, we get to milk people, rich kids of their trust funds, and hang out with their cool 19-year-old daughters all the time.
Lots of boobs. Okay, get to see those. So I guess that's part of it. Yeah, because they never wore robes or anything. I was like, okay.
Rexor did once.
Rexor did inside the original temple of Set when they went to rob it and took the eye of the serpent. It's like you didn't watch the movie.
Was the same guy? I didn't even know that. Thought it was just
kill them.
Priest number 8. Okay. Oh my.
No.
Well, I say we got to give Katie a little bit of grace because she has watched this movie once. How many times have we watched this movie, Neil?
I've only seen it once too, but ingrained into my into my mind,
burned into your psyche for the rest of your life. Yeah.
For the rest of my life.
I watched it just before before we recorded. So.
And what did I tell you about that? What did
you were ashamed of me for watching?
I was ashamed of you. Yes, I don't need to watch Conan. I will raw dog anything we do about Conan. I don't need to watch it. It's in here. Conan's in here.
It's in our hearts.
It's in the heart.
Certainly my heart now. Well, this was the part where I was like, I don't know. I think we're at the 2-hour mark, so someone's probably gonna die, right? And James Earl Jones, the princess, is like, come and save me. And he's like, bitch, no, you're more trouble than you were. This is another snake arrow part. Didn't like it. But she gets saved. So he just rides off, and then Conan's like, son of a bitch, gotta go back to the goddamn temple and do it again. And he does. And it's kind of great. I like how they ended it. It wasn't dramatic. It was like, a little nice breath.
Honestly, the sound on that.
Oh, you stole my point.
Well, you trampled on my other one, you bastard.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Too bad. The sound on that deserves accolades and awards because I have never actually heard a human head rolling down stone steps, but now I know exactly what that sounds like.
Yeah, whoever the Foley artist is, they deserve this.
They totally deserve that. That one time we were over at Dave's, I thought I heard a head rolling down stone steps, and I just realized, no, that's just Dave.
It's just
Oh, speaking of Dave, so, as you probably figured out, we have a third host occasionally on our podcast, and he couldn't make it because he's working. So big ups, Dave. Hope you're doing all right out there.
miss you,
Dave's
Dave.
out.
Fight the fires.
Dave's fighting fires. Dave's got
Yeah.
like a legit, like super important job.
Yeah, thank you for your service, Dave. Well, heads roll. None of the cult kids seem concerned. They're just like, well, all right, guess I'm going back home. And everybody just leaves. I thought Conan might become the new cult leader, but we didn't go that direction, it seemed.
No, he wears the jeweled crown of Aquilonia on a troubled brow.
Yeah, because then
That's
there's
what he ends up
exposition
doing.
where it's like, anyway, then that guy's gone. And then many years later, Conan becomes a king. And I was like, good for you, I suppose.
Yes. Well, between then, many wars and feuds were fought.
That's why it makes more sense this again came from a book, because I'm like, oh, okay, you wanted to tell me more? And then I was like, and there was a sequel to this movie.
We don't
No, there
talk about
wasn't.
it, though.
No, there wasn't.
we don't talk
Conan
about
the
it.
No, there wasn't.
Destroyer? No.
No,
your
Yeah.
feelings
there was
about
not.
it?
Not good.
There was not a sequel
What's
made.
your stance
No.
on Red Sonja? I know about her.
Entertaining, but awful.
Okay.
As a teenage kid, I remember seeing that and going like, "Who is this Brigitte Nielsen?" I consider Brigitte Nielsen a lot like a missile fired off of a carrier off the
Yeah.
coast, right?
I see it with the hair.
You see it from a distance and you're like, "Oh," and then you get up close, you're like, "Oh no,
You're
we
like,
don't want that here."
So there was also a reboot make of Conan
No, we
the
don't. No.
Barbarian?
Yeah,
Jason
we don't talk
McCoy,
about it
you
either.
can.
Oh,
you
so
can suck
that's
it.
what
You
that
already,
was. Okay.
You've already ruined with that second stupid ass Aquaman movie with him riding around on motorcycles and drinking Guinness because that's what you like to do.
He's
No.
Bro Sidon, King of the Ocean.
Yeah, bro Sidon. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know what? Lisa, you don't deserve Lisa Bonet, okay?
Oh dear. Yeah.
That
All
ruined
right.
so much of my childhood for me when he married Lisa Bonet. Please stop.
Well, my friends, we did it. So we always like to ask this question. I think I know the answer, but I'll ask it anyway. Guys, would you watch or don't watch Conan the Barbarian?
Oh, I watched it again today. I'll watch it again tomorrow. If it's on cable, it's
Going on
I'll
repeat.
watch it from wherever it picks up.
All right. I like it.
I'm gonna have it on my phone when I'm working out tonight. I'm gonna get on the rowing. I'm gonna hit the rowing machine, and then I'm gonna go hit some weights, and I'm gonna have that thing playing because now I've been jonesing for the movie, thinking about how great it is the whole time.
Ever in the background. I love that.
Always and always and always.
Well, it was certainly entertaining for me, so I'm sure at some point in my life I will watch it again, and I'll do it for you guys. I'll thank you
All
right.
guys.
Tomorrow's never too soon.
Well, normally this would be the part where we talk about what our next movie is going to be. I don't know what that's going to be because we're kind of doing a little freeform stuff at this point in time. So instead, we do have a little segment, guys, and I'd like you to join in on this if you are comfortable. But we do a little love confession because we love each other. We're all friends, and you know what? That's how it goes. So imagine that we're the little Conan people, okay? We're all buddies. And I just want to say for you two, if I was going to scale the Snake Tower, but probably by myself, and you showed up, both of you, and you're like, hey, we're going to go there too, I would still share my rope with you. I might give you a little more like insight into like what's happening inside because I felt like she knew and they didn't, and that could have made things different. And I would have been
More
like,
intel.
look out, there's a snake. Good luck. And I do that for you guys.
All right. I think that, if you were stolen by Thulsa Doom or you decided to go on a Thulsa Doom, personal discovery mission and your dad was upset and said, hey, can you go get Katie?
Oh, God.
I think that Neil and I would go get you.
I would not
Okay.
be in the orgy room. I'll tell you that right now. I'd be like, I gotta use the bathroom, and then just wouldn't appear again. Just
So
off of the
I
desert.
I think if I just got done with sexy fun times with a strange sharp tooth witch lady in the woods, that Katie, I would unchain you because I would like you to be able to meet death on your feet.
Thank you.
And Eric, when I run into you in Zamora as a camel, I would knock you the hell out.
All right. I would sell you some lizard on a stick.
Some lizard on a stick. What about Black Lotus?
Yeah,
Oh.
Stygian, the best.
Stygian the best.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not Haga because you would not do that to a slayer such
To a
as
slayer
myself.
such as yourself, yeah.
That's
Oh
right.
my gosh.
You wouldn't do that, would
Well,
you? No.
and listeners, if you also would unchain someone who's like, I don't know, has good vibes and is like, I'm just hungry and I can help. And if you would also eat a lizard on a stick, branching out, your culinary world. And if you think that Conan, by definition, might be a barbarian, but I feel like in his heart, he's not as much of a barbarian, which is a good thing, I think. And if you think all that, you should write us a review. We love reviews. We love written reviews. You can review us on Apple Podcasts, along with some other podcasting apps. And we also have a website, sisterswhoseenit.com. On our website, you can request a movie. So Neil did that. He made an official movie request. He filled out the form.
Long time ago. It was hurtful. It was hurtful. It took so long.
It did, hang out on the list a little bit, but that's not you. It's me. Definitely always on me, or me and Bridget, I should say.
When I made that request, I had hair and none of my beard was gray.
And listeners, if you have a movie, maybe you want to force Bridget and I to watch the second one of this. Apparently it's
No,
trashed.
don't do that to her, people.
Oh,
don't
boy.
do that to her, people.
Uh-oh, careful.
Don't
I'd
do
watch
it.
Red Sonja, maybe. I don't know. But get
That's
on
fun.
there, make a request. And we also sell merchandise, so you can check that out on the website as well. There's shirts you can buy, other Sisters Who Seen It things, all that good stuff. So please check
I've been
it
seeing a
out.
Sisters Who Seen It drink koozie from time to time.
I do have. Yes, I do.
Nice,
believe
man, they got
sell
merch.
those. We couldn't call it a koozie because it got flagged, because koozie is like a trademarked term, so you had to call it we had to call it something weird, like a can holder or something stupid.
It's a drink insulator.
Yeah, so, like an insulator, something stupid. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff in there, so check that out. We hope to hear from you. And guys, I would love you to take a moment and give some context of your guys' podcast. Tell us a little bit about it. Where can the listeners find you? What do you want them to do?
Well, we are the Retro Video Store, and we review movies of from the video store era, and we're on all major podcast services, your Spotify, your iTunes, and everywhere else you can find us. If you want to send us an email, it's rvspodcast222@gmail.com, and we are in the ending of High School Movie Month.
Ooh.
So our
Thank God.
our episode on Just One of the Guys comes out on Saturday, which was that was rough.
My wife loves that movie, and I still love her for love, even though knowing she loves it and has so much of it memorized. Wow.
Bad. But we did Prom Night,
I was listening to the
Heathers.
Prom Night one recently. That's a good one.
Yes, thank you for having us on, and we'd love to have you on sometime too. If you think of a movie that you would like us to do that we haven't done yet that would needs the female perspective, I think you should.
You could finally get to. I think when you were on, it was just us two.
We did.
You didn't get a chance to meet Dave.
No, I
Cemetery,
did. No,
yeah.
Dave was with us. We did.
Oh, Dave was with us?
Yeah, we did Pet Cemetery, and I remember Dave was with us specifically because he talked about in the scene when rest in peace, little spoiler alert, also Gage dies, and he goes, and you see that shoe, and every time I see a shoe where its laces are tied over the electric pole, I always think a little dead Gage, and I was like, Jesus, Dave, like, what do you mean you think about a dead Gage often?
We talked about her walking with her ankle all messed up was a lot like Dave coming home after doing the walk of shame.
Yes, that was a fun one. I like that one. I love Pet Cemetery.
We've done a lot of episodes.
Yeah, and I don't know if I told you guys this on that last one, but you guys, like, your style and the movies you do, they remind me so much of one of my favorite YouTubers. He's called the Cinema Snob, and so he does like video reviews. But I'm telling you, almost every movie you guys have done, he's like also done.
Oh, really? I've heard of him. I haven't really watched any of his.
You should check him out. He's very entertaining. He's really funny too.
We thought about YouTube once, but then we realized we have faces made for audio.
Yeah, no, I'm like, we don't need to see me. I like...
And it's so time intensive to edit video versus editing audio. Oh, my God.
Yeah, no, audio
thank you so much for having us.
Is enough, yes.
Wow,
Well,
Eric putting a fucking lid on it with just like going over like, hey, we're done. We're done. Good night, guys.
All right. Well,
Thanks for coming. Everybody go home. Make sure you take your glasses on the way out. All right. Good times.
I was gonna say, guys, it's like late for me. Come on. My friends, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for coming on here. This was a lot of fun. And yeah. And listeners, thank you guys. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Everybody have a good week.
See you later.
Good week. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Sisters Who Seen It. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website at sisterswhoseenit.com, where you can email us, request movies to be reviewed, and keep up to date with all things sisters. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you next week.